Works. Hello. It's been a while. I'm doing this from my phone. I'm so excited, but we still have like maybe a minute. Let me get something. I want to make sure that this is not blurry. um, so why not clean it off with a sock, right? So here we are. Ooh, there we go. Okay, hello. Happy, depending on what you like to call it, Thanksgiving, Day of Peace. I never set these out before, or I rarely, I should say, set these out before actual starting something. So hopefully you can hear me okay. And let me grab something here. All right. Now that we're getting all settled in. Hello. And let me make sure my alerts are off. That's a thing too. You know? All right. So if anyone did not get nauseated from all that movement, hello and thank you for joining me for this gratitude, connection, and yoga. This is a short yoga practice that we'll do today to celebrate, like I said, just depending on what you call it. Maybe you celebrate Thanksgiving. Maybe this is just a day of peace. Maybe you have to go to work. Some people, it's just a normal day, or just a day. This is something that's, predominantly celebrated in the States, but even people here are not all celebrating. But no matter if you're celebrating or not, it's just wonderful to have you here and to join me for this practice. This is a practice that is wonderful to do at any time of the year, any time of the day. Like I said, it's just a shorter practice. We kind of will go off on how we feel. It's a practice for just gratitude, centering, which is something that does happen and come around at the end of the year for a lot of people. It's reflecting on what's gone on, preparing for what's ahead, and just being thankful, just finding happiness and like true honesty about everything that the year has brought, things that people have gained, maybe things that they've lost, and just being thankful though for being alive and breathing. So one thing I will note is during this practice, I may or may not do all the moves. I like to show modifications. So definitely go off of how you are feeling, what your body is calling you to do. And if you want to stay in a pose longer, please feel free to do so. If you want to move out of a pose sooner, please feel free to do so. But if you see or you feel the vibe of me moving, I'll let you know. I'll call out a pose. You don't have to move something just because I move something. I may lift my head or something just to then be able to talk out clearly to you or give other options. So you don't have to move physically just because I'm moving physically. So I'd like to note that just because it does happen. So it's just if we're in a pose and you feel good there, feel free to stay there unless like other pose is called or something. Just a little note. But thank you for being here. It's lovely to be live again. I'm getting used to also getting huge. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's on the phone. So that was like a nice little upgrade for me to be able to just pop on here and share with you if I don't have a laptop on me. So this is so great. We're going to get started. I am going to light my nice little candle here for my practice. My candle of, I like to say it's gratitude, but it's really so many more things. One, it's just nice to have a little candle. And then it's also just nice this is Merlin's Forest. I will share this with you. It's organic cinnamon, rose, eucalyptus, citrine. So it's so wonderful. I got this at a little shop. Oh my God, that's so funny. Only one library. A little shop called Old Familiar in Northeast Ohio. And this thing smells amazing, and that was too funny. So now I will keep my distance away. Oh my goodness. And let's flow. Let's let me stop talking. Let's get to it. So if you prefer to do these moves or anything in a chair, please feel free to do so. Adapt the flow and movements as you need for yourself. We are going to start though in a nice seated position. Like I said, I'm going to call things out. So if you feel like, if you can't see me fully, or if you want to stay in something or not, feel free to do so. But I always love starting seated and kind of just feeling the body and connecting to self. interesting. That candle just keeps not went out on its own. That's okay though. So we're gonna get started. You can always have a hazy gaze or closed eyes. Feel free to get settled wherever you are, whether you're doing this in bed, in chair, on the floor, on a mat. You can have blocks and blankets if you'd like, but you don't have to. Just take a moment to get settled in. Thank you for inviting me into your place, into your home, maybe your apartment. Just thank you for inviting me into your connection, into your vibration. And as we get settled in our place or moment, take a moment to welcome good posture. Maybe roll back the shoulders, come into good breath. And as we come in, as I said, this is a wonderful practice for gratitude, connection, and yoga and self, because we are not only here to offer gratitude and thanks, but in understanding that all is connected to the other human beings, connected to the air we breathe, connected to the water, the land, the trees, the animals, and wildlife. And allowing that to open up our awareness, open up our minds. Just take a few breaths. If you feel any tightness or tension at this point or any time in flow, bringing awareness to that tightness and tension and exhaling it away. We're going to start with a nice side stretch. So if you're in seated, you could have nice crossed legs. You could still have the legs out in front of you, whatever helps you to feel supported. I'm going to start usually on my right side. You might be opposite of me, you might be the same. No matter if you start on one side or the other, don't worry, we'll balance it out by always doing the other side. But I'm going to connect my left hand down to the mat. The right hand will extend and lengthen. Vision can follow. Inhale, up and overhead. And release. And inhale and exhale, up and overhead. And release. Once again, inhale and exhale, overhead. And release. Allow that arm to connect to mat. Extend and lengthen down the other side. Inhale, exhale. Stretch. Breathe. Feel the lungs. And release. Inhale, exhale, overhead. And release. Inhale, exhale, overhead. And release. We'll go ahead. We'll bring both arms out to sides. Feel a nice stretch and lift in the chest. Feel the differences in your body and your breath. Inhale the arms up to ceiling and sky. Connect or intertwine the fingers or palms here. So if you don't want to have the arms up nice and high, you're more than welcome to bring them a little lower with elbows out to side so you have any variation there in between. Inhale. Then exhale, Banasana to the right possibly. Back to center. Inhale and stretch. Exhale the opposite side. Back, returning to center. Take it back. We're going to get a little lift in the chest. The arms are going to go towards the back body here. Drop those shoulders down. They don't have to go far, just a little stretch. Back to center. One last time. Inhale, stretch those arms up towards the sky. Release the palms. Exhale, seated forward fold. So during your forward fold, you're going to find yourself with your vision maybe going down towards floor, or maybe your eyes are closed. Your hands or fingers are going to creep away from center. You're folding over from the waist and hips. Your tail or bottom is grounded to the mat, the bed, the chair, whatever you have to keep you supported and connected. And then you just allow the spine to lengthen, the head and neck to align. Maybe take about 2 to 3 deep breaths here. Forward folding, allowing the upper body to lay over the lower body. Maybe take another deep breath or so here, then when you're ready, exhaling, releasing, rolling up the spine, the hands come back to center. We'll take a few shoulder rolls towards the back body now. And then we'll take a few shoulder rolls towards the front. We're going to go ahead, we're going to extend and lengthen out one leg or the other. I'm going to start with my right. Adjust your tail as you need. The opposite leg and foot are going to come in. The nice bent knee, maybe that foot connects to the inner thigh. And we're going to go ahead, come up through center, inhaling up through chest, relax the shoulders. Exhale, seated forward fold once again. Breathing, exhaling, stretching. You might feel this stretch in the inner thigh. You want to have the extended leg, heel connected down to floor. Toes are flexed up towards ceiling or sky. And you're going to keep that leg kind of out at side, almost like a nice hat V. And just that upper body, once again, connecting, forward folding. Take another nice breath here. And then when you're ready, you'll gently release, you'll gently roll up that spine. We're going to go ahead, we're going to keep that right leg, or whichever leg you have extended out, you're going to take the opposite hand, that side of the bent leg. You're going to bring it around to either your side body or your back body. You're going to unbend the elbow. You're going to press that palm into the mat. We're going to lift the extended leg up off in that side of hip, up off the mat. The foot may connect with the floor. That same long extended arm may come overhead. You're going to lift up through the pelvis, through the belly, through the body. A nice stretch. Stretch and hold. When you lift up, you're having that bent leg sort of flip and connect down to ground to offer you some support. You get a nice stretch. And then you return nice and slow back down to floor. We'll take all that to the opposite side now. So now you have the opposite foot coming in, connecting to inner thigh, the heel, feet connected. Connect at center. Inhale up through chest. Exhale, forward fold. Take your time. There's no rush. This is sort of a nice slower flow. So you still get time to feel the body, connect with your breath, that connection to ground and air and space. Inhale, exhale. Find another breath. And when you're ready, you'll gently roll up that spine once again, coming back to center. Same thing, we're going to now take that opposite arm, same side as bent leg, pressing it into the mat, unbending the elbow. We're going to allow that extended leg, the foot to connect to the floor. We're going to lift up off our hips, off our bottom. Nice overhead body stretch. And return back down to floor, nice and slow. Both legs are going to go out to one side or the other. We're going to go ahead and start to allow some leveling out. We're going to come over on to our knees, aligning underneath the hips, the hands pressing down into mat. And here, just do what works for you. So you have options here. If your knees are irritated at all, you could always go back on the tail and just do the seated and have the arms nice and stretched out in front of you and take some motions or movements that you need. Or you have the option always to line up a blanket here or pillows and rest the knees on that so that they feel supported. But otherwise, then you're going to allow the hands to press down into the mat, the tail behind you. You can take some cows and cats, which is dropping the belly, lifting the head, finding your breath. Inhaling for cow, then exhaling as you pull the belly button into spine. Dropping the head and tail for your cat as you exhale. You have those options. You could do a few of those. You could take a crescent moon, which is inhaling at center, then exhaling as you take the crown and tail to one side and then the other. You also have that option of liquid cows or cats, I like to call them, or circles, hip and waist circles, where you just take the body around one direction, get a nice stretch through the head and neck and tail, then maybe the other direction. So you can do whatever is calling you. You could do one of these things, you could do all of these things, you can mix it up. Take any motions and movements that you need. It's really coming into connection itself and what the body is calling. Then coming back to center, we'll go ahead and take a nice Balasana child's pose after we come back to center. The knees can be aligned under hips, or you can take the mat width apart, big toes touching behind you, heels come together, tail comes over heels, I should say, after the toes come together behind you. Extend and lengthen and stretch. So you have your options. You can take your arms nice and long. You can keep them a little close. You can have a restful Balasana, or you can take the forehead down to floor and mat and spine and stretch. Find about 2 to 3 breaths here in your Balasana, child's pose. And then whenever you're ready, gently take your time. Connecting, deep breathing, raising up onto shin or heel, or maybe your tail is still connecting across legs. No matter what variation or changes you need to do for self, please do them. Otherwise, we have our tail over the heels, so we're going to take our hands, connecting them to the sides of the mat. We're going to lift the chest, a nice heart opener here. Take about 2 to 3 deep breaths. You're going to lift the chest. The head is in alignment with the neck and spine still. You're gently pressing the palms into mat. Take another breath or two if you need. And gently release. We're going to go ahead and come onto all fours. So you have options once again. You could come onto all fours and go ahead and maybe find some movement, some motions, or whatever you like. Or you have the option to move into a downward dog with me. So take your time getting here. I like to call them low dogs or high dogs. So you have the option to curl those toes under for a little stretch in the feet. And when you're ready, you'll just start to slowly take the tail up to sky. You'll pedal out the feet or do whatever you need. You have bent knees, that's low dog, or you can take a high dog or traditional downward dog. Align the feet, do what you need for self. Let's take about 3 to 5 deep breaths here. Take any motions, any movements that you need. You want the head alignment, that vision kind of looking towards the toes. Your head and neck in alignment are with the arms. Palms are pressing into mat. Heels don't have to touch the back of the mat or the floor, especially if this is your first big stretch of the day. Take any last breaths in your downward dog. Then when you're ready, we're going to flow into a plank. A little heat in the body. Pull that belly button into spine. Drop that tail. Then gently bring the knees back down to mat. Flatten those feet behind you. Balasana, child's pose. We're going to go ahead and gently roll up the spine. We're going to come back onto all fours. You're going to bring awareness to maybe your right side. So here we have some options. We're going to take the right leg and bring it out towards the front or top of mat. You could flow that right leg through center onto foot towards the top of mat, or you could always just lift the right arm, take it out and bring it to the front. So it's up to you, however you'd like to get there. You kind of play with the body. You're going to find yourself in almost a bit of a low lunge. So you still are on that knee on the left side. That front leg is now 90-degree bend. You're going to allow that lunge forward. It's going to start to open up through the groin, through the thighs. A nice deep stretch. Maybe you're on the fingertips with a nice stretch through the chest. And when you're ready, you're going to take the tail back. We're going to forward fold, half split, or extended stretch in leg. Your toes maybe lift off the mat, that's okay. Place your hands wherever they're going to support the body, forward fold. Make sure that the legs are in alignment with the hips. Breathe and relax the body. Deep breaths into that extended leg, into that thigh, into that hamstring, into that quadricep, whatever you need. And when you're ready, we're going to go back and release, go back into that nice lunge forward. Take any other stretches that you need. They're going to come back to a nice neutral position. We're going to go ahead and take that left hand outside of or to the left of the right foot maybe. You're going to take that right arm. Now you have options. You can place that right hand on the thigh and just twist the body towards the right, or you have the option to take a nice twist towards the right. That right arm can go to sky, vision can follow. Then gently return back down to center. We're going to lift up on the left toes, the left knee, adjust the body, gently raise up for a nice warrior two. Adjust your body as you need. Find your warrior two. I am doing mine a little bit more wide so that you can see me. So I may adjust and speak here a little bit more. So if something goes off the camera, that's okay. You still know what you got to do. We're going to find a nice reverse warrior from our warrior two. That back arm goes behind us. Palm facing out, connected to the lower back. Right arm goes up and overhead for a nice reverse warrior. Stretch and return to two. We're going to go ahead and find an extended warrior. We're going to drop our right forearm down to thigh, a modified extended warrior. Left arm's going to go overhead, pointing the fingers away out above. And return to two. And find a nice warrior one. That back arm's going to pass through center to front. You have the option to just bend the arms at the elbows or raise the arms to sky. Feel that stretch through the torso. The legs and feet are grounded. Drop the shoulders. And returning to two once again. And then we're going to go ahead and drop back in that low lunge. So that back arm's going to come to front. Adjust your feet. Drop back into that low lunge. You can keep that left knee high. Or you can connect it to the floor. Do what you need. Then we're going to find a little plank. So that right leg's going to go back. Adjust your plank. Pull that belly button into spine. Then go ahead back into another downward dog. So you can always drop down onto all fours and take any motions or movements that you need. Or just enjoy your downward dog. Maybe pedal out the feet again or rock the tail. Then when you're ready, come out of that downward dog, finding that plank once again, slowly onto knees. We're going to find our low lunge this time on possibly the left side or the opposite side that you didn't do. Take that foot forward towards the mat, find your lunge. Then we're going to go ahead and this time place that opposite hand, connecting it down to mat. You can take same side as the bent leg, hand to thigh, or you can twist up towards ceiling and sky, maybe towards the left this time. Gently release. I'm going to go ahead, find our warrior two. I'm going to lift up possibly off the right knees, up onto the feet. Raise into your two. Left side in front, take your time. Stretch, feel the body. Then when you're ready, reverse warrior. That back arm's going to go behind the lower back. Palms facing out. Left hand up and overhead. Some people would call this exalted warrior or variation of, but usually the legs or the hands usually closer to thigh if it's exalted. Then back to two. We're going to find our modified extended warrior. Left forearm down to thigh, right arm overhead. And back to two. We're going to go ahead and find our one. And take that back arm passing through towards the front. You can have bent elbows or raise high to sky. Stretch and back to two. We're going to go ahead, we're going to find that low lunge. Once again, that back arm is going to come to meet the front. Drop down that low lunge. I like to call these an in and out. So we went in with the nice half split on the right side. We're going to go out with the half split on the left. So you can go ahead and allow that right knee possibly to drop back down to mat. You're gonna take a nice forward fold over the left leg possibly. Extend and lengthen, finding your nice half split. It's gonna equal us back out. Take another breath if you need, then when you're ready, bend that knee once again. Nice stretch. And back to center and neutral. Lift up possibly off that right knee. Plant the hands if you need. Find your plank. And if you'd like, you can drop down on all fours. Take any motions or movements that you need, or flow back in a low dog or downward dog. Take your time. Pedal the feet. See if you notice any differences in the heels, connecting with floor. Find your breath. Then when you're ready, gently come down onto all fours once again. We're going to slowly take, now you have the option to take the body back into Balasana. You have the option to have those knees connected in line with hips, or you can take a mat width apart. Nice child's pose Balasana, nice deep stretch. Take 1 or 2 more breaths in your Balasana. And then when you're ready, you'll gently roll up the spine. We're going to go ahead and allow the legs to kick out to one side or the other. You're going to find yourself coming onto tail. Extend and lengthen. Take any motions or movements that you need. Kind of wiggle the toes, take any little ankle circles. We're going to find a seated staff pose. The arms are going to line down at sides, pressing the palms into mat, dropping those shoulders, lifting the crown. Flex toes towards ceiling and sky, knees aren't bent. Find a deep inhale and exhale here. And gently release. We're going to welcome equilibrium back into the body, getting close to where we started. We're ending as we began. We're going to go ahead, we're going to pull that left leg into chest. You can keep it on left side or cross it over right. You're going to take the right hand, wrap it around the shin, back stroke the left arm behind you. Seated supine twist. Seated supine belly twist or seated supine spinal twist. Gently release, take it to the other side. So now that right side knee maybe comes to chest or crosses over left. Left arm wraps around shin, right arm back strokes behind. And gently return to center. Extend or lengthen, take any little motions or movements that you need. Then you're going to go ahead, you're going to maybe move closer to center to your mat. Here is where you're going off of more of what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. So you have the option here to go upon the back nice and slow. So you maybe bring the knees up to chest and gently lower the spine back down to mat. Then you can have the knees follow into chest and just take some nice side to side rocking with the knees, or take knees away from chest in circles, one direction or the other. And just find your breath, take a moment. Do whatever feels good for body. I just like to explain that first because you might not be able to hear me if I'm down on my spine. Continuing to find yourself on your spine, maybe possibly using any support system or blankets that you need. Then whenever you're ready, you're going to welcome stillness to those legs. You have 2 options here. You have the option to extend and lengthen the legs slowly away from chest, away from center. Maybe the arms go overhead for a nice stretch. Taking any last really deep breaths into any tightness or tension that you may find. Then you'll gently allow yourself to go into a nice moment of peace, or shavasana, or corpse pose, or seated corpse pose, whatever you'd like to call it. Or you have the option, if you are ready to get on with the rest of your day, take any last deep breaths that you need, then you could gently rock the body front to back, gently lifting up then into a nice seated position, or you have the option to move on to one side or the other and roll up into any seated position. Take some nice deep breaths. I would recommend at least doing 2 to 3 deep breaths to really welcome fresh and rejuvenated air into the system before you go on with your day. And then I would like to thank you for joining me for this gratitude, connection, and yoga flow. I hope you have a wonderful day of peace, or day of Thanksgiving, or day of history and enlightenment and awareness. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect with me at any time. There's all the socials and everything. If you just search that Carmita Smiles, you'll find me somewhere. So if you'd like, you can enjoy your moment of peace, your corpse pose, your shavasana, or you can welcome your palms to come to heart center with me, relaxing the body, connecting with breath and the earth around. And may this flow ease you into the rest of your day with light, peace, smiles, and love. Namaste. Enjoy and have peace. Do anything that you need. We hit the lovely 30 minutes, which is a wonderful, wonderful flow. Wonderful, wonderful thing of gratitude. So do whatever you need. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day, week, weekend, season. And peut-être, je parle cette yoga en français. À bientôt. So I can practice a little more of my French. And so if you would prefer this and that, definitely reach out. I love to hear and find that people enjoy me practicing and learning my French with all of you. So thank you again, and take care, everybody.